And then Monday, we just record Monday.
Good morning, everybody, and happy Saturday. Welcome to another episode of The Breakfast Show with Marisha LaShay. I am Marisha LaShay, and we have our good girl, Tia.
Good morning, good morning, good morning.
Wow, Tia. It's day 28.
28. 2 more days.
Wow,
28.
y'all. We've been on here for a month
Almost.
talking to y'all.
Mhm.
Wow. Okay, y'all. So, y'all know how this goes. We check in on a scale from 1 to 10 mentally, how we feeling, how we starting our day. 1 being the worst day of our life, 10 being the best day of our lives. Are we able to be below a 1? Absolutely. Are you able to be above a 10? Yes. So with that being said, the 10 I normally go first. We're definitely gonna go first. But we need you guys to share how you're feeling. Drop in those comments below, whether you're on Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, whatever. Please feel free to share how you're feeling. All right, Tia, you're up. How you
Well,
feeling?
yeah, for me, I am feeling amazing this morning. Definitely on a 9, ready for the day to continue to progress and go ahead and reach that 10. So excited for it being the 28th day coming on, talking to the audience, sharing some cool and helpful tips with you guys. This has been an amazing ride, right? So I'm just extremely happy and thankful that it's Saturday, right? I wish my body can get on board with it being Saturday and not waking me up so early. But I thank God for the waking up. Just can we do it a little bit later? We don't got to
That's
go
the one.
to
That's the one. Wake me up later when ain't nothing going on.
work. Okay.
That's the one.
Well, how are you feeling?
On a scale from 1 to 10, I'm about a good 8. About a good 8. I don't want to push it and say I'm a 9 or 10 because it's just not giving 9 or 10. It's just giving 8. 8 and straight, 8 and straight.
Waiting straight.
Definitely in a space of gratitude. Definitely in a place of productivity. Like I said, I had professional development all day yesterday.
Oh, yeah.
And it was really, really good and productive. But I just was like, yeah, that's it. I ain't got nothing else. Don't ask me to grade no papers up in here. Don't ask me to do none of that. I do that at home,
Good.
so I get organized and I'll be ready to go. So
Right.
yes, girl.
Well, you got
Yes.
over that.
Girl. Oh my goodness, it felt so good to finally lay down last night. But y'all, so it's 28 days, day 28 today. We've been in this for 28 days. We will be before you guys 2 more days. Okay. You know that we only show up in months such as September, November, April, and June. This is my first season where I had a co host, and it's just been an experience. Plus, this focus of the series was on financial. So this was definitely well needed. And yeah, y'all, I'm sad that it's gonna be coming to a break soon. But that's okay. That's a part of life. Every good thing comes to an end to begin something else.
Yeah.
So with that being said, what is traveling on a budget? What is traveling on a budget? What does that look like? What is
Yes.
what is it?
Perfect, perfect. A wonderful question, right? A lot of us in this space are always looking to, be on vacation, enjoy the fruits of our labor. But one of the things that we have to really start thinking about is doing it on a budget so that way we can still experience the things that we want to experience. Now, I'm going to talk about tips as it pertains to families. For our folks out there that are listening that do not have families, you also could use some of these tips, but I'm going to be speaking more towards the family side of it. So, how do we travel on a budget as a family, right? Because we want our kids to also be experiencing things as well, right? So, the very first thing that you want to do, and I mentioned this in one of our other episodes, is you want to look at your kids' school calendar, right? And you want to compare that to your work schedule. There are a couple of weekends in the year where we have full 3 day and 4 day weekends, right? So you might be wanting to look and say, okay, next year we're going to have a 4 day weekend this month, and then the kids are also going to be out of school for 4 days. This gives us enough time to actually go on vacation. So that's your very first tip. You want to make sure that your calendars are in sync so that you can pick a comfortable day to travel. The next thing that you want to do, some people say you want to give yourself 6 months to plan and pay for a trip. I would say if you're starting, let's say you're right now in 2024 and you're looking for something in 2025, give yourself 12 months. I mean, what harm does it do to stretch those payments out, right? So you can do 6 months, you can do 12 months, just as long as you aren't dropping $400 and $500 right away, one single transaction. That's absolutely no, if you don't have to, right? The next thing, how many people do you have in this group? Are you a family of four? Are you a family of five? Because that is going to tell you how you're going to get to your destination, right? Are you going to make it a road trip, which means you may need 2 extra days, one to go and then one to come back? Are you going to take a plane? Now, how savvy are you? Here's one thing that me and my family, we like to do. We have some brand loyalty when it comes to taking flights, simply because we like the convenience of not having to pay for seats. We like to be able to sit with each other, so we do have some brand loyalty with Southwest. I'm pretty sure everybody's like, well, which one? You know which one is Southwest, right? So what I do is I am very avid about looking at the Southwest calendar. So if we're looking for a trip that's in May of 2024, I need to know exactly when does Southwest drop, 2025, I'm sorry. When does Southwest drop their schedule for May 2025? Because here's what that's going to do for me. I already know the dates. I already know that we're going to travel by plane. Now I just need to know how much are our flights going to cost, right? And you want to get those flights cheap. You don't want to wait until April 2025 to say, okay, I'm gonna buy the flights. Those things going to be high as a giraffe's neck. You don't want to do that. Okay. So you want to buy the tickets early. So if you're going to drive, maybe you don't want to put all those miles on your car depending on where you're going to go, right? You don't want to put all those miles, so you want to rent a car. Well, you need to secure that rental early so that way you can get a cheaper rate because you already know the date. You already know that you're going to be starting from your home location, so you can find a rental location that is close to you. Okay. And now what you can do is you can put the car on reserve for a lesser amount. So now you know how much your rental is going to be, or you know the dates that you're going to go, right? Now you have that amount of money. Or even if you were going to do the flights, you have that amount of money. Here's what we didn't talk about yet. What destination are you going to go to? The destination will help you decide, do I go in the summer months? Do we go in the fall months? Maybe we might go in the winter time, right? Here's the thing. Everybody who has kids wants to take their kids to Disney. I don't care what anybody tells you. Everybody wants to take their kids to Disney. Disney in the summer is way more expensive than Disney in the fall, right? Because in Florida, kids are going back to school early. Here, you're going to school early. Chicago, you're going to school. You're just looking at the school calendar, right? So they're expecting for children not to be in the park as heavy. So maybe you might have a 3 day or 4 day weekend in the month of September, or even in the month of October, that maybe you can take your kids significantly cheaper. You save about $2,000, $3,000 going in a different month. So You know your destination. You've synced all the calendars. You know what type of form of transportation you're going to take. Now, what you're going to do is you're going to look at your budget. All righty, this trip is going to cost us this much money. Did I give myself 6 months? Did I give myself 12 months? We're going to break that thing down, figure out who needs a deposit, because now you have to figure out where you're going to stay. And a lot of places want a payment of one night plus taxes and fees. So now you have to incorporate that in the budget. So now you've done all those things. You figured out how you're going to get there. You figured out the date. You figured out the destination. You figured out the hotel situation. Now it's time to pay. These are all the tips. It's time to pay. You've given yourself some time. You picked your destination. You've picked your form of transportation. You looked at your budget and you said, every month I can do $100. Fine, okay. Now you know where the money's going. You know what you're doing. And now you still get to travel. You still get to travel with your family. It does not seem like you have just stretched your budget too thin, because you've done all these things. You've set this thing up for yourself. So that's how we travel, and we get to travel a couple of times during the year, because I'm always looking future forward planning. If we don't have it planned out for at least 6 to 12 months in advance, baby, we're not doing nothing sporadic, unless it's maybe like a 3-hour driving trip. That's it.
That's good.
That
That's good.
requires a whole bunch of this and that. It has to be put out, because one, if you have children, you're going to want that. They're going to want something at the park. We didn't get there yet, but they're going to want something depending on where you're going, right? They're going to want this. You're going to want to eat at restaurants that maybe you don't have in your hometown. So now we're getting further into the planning, right? How much money do you want to spend daily while you're out? What type of hotel are you going to get? Are you going to get one that's suite style that has a kitchen? Are you going to get an Airbnb? Are you going to get a Verbo, which has a kitchen? So now you're saying, okay, we're living in the Airbnb for the time that we're there. We're there for 4 days. Out of the 4 days, how many of those days do we want to cook in the house? Because then that would decrease how many times we eat out. Are we going out for breakfast? Are we going out for dinner? Are we going to eat lunch while we're out? Because now you can decide, okay, we have a little grocery bill that we need to put some food into the house, because taking kids to breakfast, a lot of times they waste food. You know what they like. If they like cereal, don't take them to a restaurant that only have pancakes and eggs and sausage. Buy some cereal and some milk and put it in the house. Now you've just saved yourself $30.
Yep.
You want to take them out to dinner? That's fine. Take them out to dinner. That $30 that you just saved from not taking them to breakfast goes to the dinner budget. Then you say, okay, well, it's like we're at home. We're going to have a family game night. The place might have a pool or whatever. Cook a meal in the house. You don't even have to leave. Cook a meal in the house. Do the family game night. Watch a movie, this, whatever. You're on vacation. You just saved yourself $150. That can be allocated towards something else. You want to do an excursion, you can pay for those things ahead. There's so many things that go into planning that we would need a longer episode so we can give you every single little thing to do. But if you're wanting to do excursions, you're going to want to go out to eat. You want to do some sightseeing. You might want to buy souvenirs for mom, dad, and your grandparents, your sister, brother, cousin. You have to allocate for those things too. So this is why I say give yourself 6 to 12 months, because if you have a little account, here we go again with the 3 accounts, right? If you have an account that is just set aside for your travel, you've already put in the cost for the car or the tickets. You've put in the cost for the hotel. You've put in the cost for the grocery budget. You put in the cost for the gas if you're going to drive a car, right? Because you have to think about that. You've put in the cost for going out to eat. You've put in the cost for the souvenirs. Now your whole entire travel budget has just continued to grow and grow and grow in this account. And now you go on vacation and you are worry-free. You're worry-free.
That's the one.
You're worry-free. You can do whatever you want to do. It is the best form of traveling. I remember I went out of town one time. I just wanted to go. I didn't budget. I just like, okay, we're going to go. We got some money. We could throw it onto the trip or whatever. Went on the trip, Mine just completely all over the place because we did not budget. Things were a lot more expensive because we did not really know the area. We didn't research it very much. So we didn't have an enjoyable time. That's the truth. We didn't have an enjoyable time. Now, as we start traveling more, we're researching where we're going to go early, right? If we're getting Airbnb, maybe they might not give you the address right away, but we're researching. Well, in the vicinity, it says this is here and this is here. Okay, well, let's go look at their menu. How much is something on average, right? How much is this excursion? Use TikTok as a resource, right? Put in activities for that area. And then you can go to those websites and see on average, it costs this much to do this and this much to do that. And you can build up an itinerary. You've built up a budget, and now you've built up the confidence that you're going to be able to go on vacation comfortably. So those are my tips. I think that if you do it this way, I promise you your very next vacation, you're going to be very comfortable. You're going to be very happy that you started early and you really started to crunch those numbers. And you didn't have to take away from your life just because you're on a debt repayment program or a debt repayment plan.
I mean, honestly, Tia, I think that these are great tips because you actually broke it down. First and foremost, everything always starts with acknowledgement. Like, okay, I'm acknowledging that I want to go somewhere. Second, I need to begin to start laying out the foundational pieces that go into me traveling. What does that look like for me? Sometimes I go backwards. I get tickets like first, like I just sometimes either go forward or either backwards. And what it looks like with backwards planning is okay, I'm gonna go ahead and secure the place. Let me see if these dates line up, like you said, with the calendar. If I'm going forward planning, then now I'm gonna look at a budget and I'm gonna be putting that money aside. Or if I'm just like, you know what, I'm just gonna take this amount of funds and put it into the travel fund because this is just better for me. I
Yeah,
mean, at your discretion. We're
yeah,
just saying that this is what we would have normally done. And, looking at it, like I said, initially when I was planning my trip to homecoming, I said, you know what? Nope, I'm not even gonna go. Just like with everything that's just like kind of been going on, I'm just gonna sit tight. I'll see y'all in November. I ain't even about to do it. You know what I'm saying? Because as I'm wherever that I'm going, I'm trying to make sure it makes sense for me in regards to knocking multiple things out when I go and me not having to rush
right.
because nothing makes you more tired than when you're doing these day trips, these turnaround trips, or same day trips.
Yeah,
Very exhausting.
yeah.
Very
They
exhausting.
they're very fun, very exciting, but they are very exhausting. I've done a couple, and I'm like, whew.
Yeah, so I'm like, I would just say taking in like what you were saying in regards to as parents, please take your children someplace because now you don't ever want them to look back and say, "Oh, she never took me nowhere. He never took me nowhere. Oh, we can't afford it." But
Exactly,
these children go on spring break all the time.
exactly.
They go on fall break. I mean, all kind of excuses to allude from the fact that you need to take these children somewhere. That is what it is.
And you know what? For the parents, and I mean, if you've never, if you're thinking like traveling with your kids is just way too much money, listen. If you live in a place that's cold a lot, right? Like Chicago, we're pretty much cold until the summer. When it comes to spring break, just take them somewhere that's warm, that got a dang on pool, that has a game room inside the house. I mean, I know you guys see a lot of these homes in Florida that where you can rent. They have the themed bedrooms and the game rooms and the theater rooms and the enclosed pools and the heated pools. And I promise you, kids love stuff like that. Kids love stuff like that. So just to be able to go somewhere and just do something, just do it. And this is why I didn't give the tips in any particular order, because you can plan this thing out how you want to plan it out. You know what I'm saying? Like you said, forward planning, backwards planning, just being like, this is the cheapest date and this is when we're going. Just do it. Just do it. I promise you, you'll enjoy it.
Take the children somewhere. Take the
Mhm.
children somewhere. Take yourself somewhere.
Yeah,
No, just being able to change up your scenery, it could be really good for you. It could be very therapeutic, taking you out of your daily routine, and just going to breathe. Like I know for Christmas, the whole family we're going to the cabins. Girl, a time was had last year. It was a time. But like you saying, excuse me, we started planning like in July.
Yeah, because you have to start early.
We started planning like in July, like kind of like June-ish, like talking about, okay, are we going to the cabins family? Okay, start dropping your deposit, start doing this, start doing that. So we know that it's real. How many people gonna go?
Yeah,
Gonna be in the room.
yeah,
We start getting room assignments together.
yeah,
You know, I'm like, yeah, next month I'll start getting pajamas together because I'm on pajama ministry.
yeah,
You
yeah.
know, and the games and what we gonna need and the groceries and like you saying.
That's it. And you just start, you start sooner. And if you bring other people, like you said, right? How many people are going? The more people, or let's not say people, because a lot of people are like, well, my kids, the more adults that are going, the you guys can split the payment equally. Now it's cheaper for everybody to experience the same exact vacation because everybody came together and you pulled together to pay that thing off.
That's the one. That's how I said, you can travel on a budget with using an actual budget or just being able to kind of switch out some things and move some things around as well. Because like you said, as it relates to traveling, depending on who y'all travel with, like I have no preference. I just hop on this plane, honey, and do what I'm gonna do. Honey, may the Lord be with you. I'll be over that. You know what I'm saying? And just go. And then for those who haven't went out of the country, you can budget an out of country or international trip like this as well with the same idea. Just understand that if your passport expires 6 months before your trip,
Yep.
make sure that you go and make your appointment so they can go ahead and fix your passport.
Yep.
Because the most hurtful thing that I seen happen to my mom this summer is not booking with a travel agent when you're doing
Mm,
international travel, but not realizing that your passport was in that 6-month expiration date, which had you in a blunder. So she was in a blunder. So
girl.
yes, blunder. I said, whoop. I said, this is something that will teach you to make sure that all your ducks are in a row. And if you
Yes.
can and able to pay attention to those parameters, I
Yeah.
said that's why they normally have travel agents booking international flights and things,
Yeah. Yeah.
and
Keep
help you
you
along the way
accountable.
because it's just certain things that
Mhm.
we don't think about on the norm
Yeah.
as, you know,
Yeah.
normal people instead of like travel agents or the travel experts.
Yeah. You definitely need to if you aren't, savvy and keeping up with your dates and things like that, you definitely need to hire somebody who does this professionally, right? They plan the trips for you. They have um the CRMs where they can build in like all of your information. Okay, when is this person's, driver's license? Maybe they have something for your driver's license. When is that going to expire? So they could be saying, hey, go get that. When's your passport expire? Hey, go get that. Your trip is coming up, or have you planned to do this? They can send you checklists. They can send you reminders for your final payments. I saw online a couple showed up. Well, they missed their payment for their cruise, like their final payment for the cruise. They missed it,
Oh, girl.
and they got refunded their money back, and then they could not rebook the cruise because their room was already resold.
Girl, good night.
I was so hurt for them. I said, "Oh my God." If they would have just
Nah, but
had, you know what I'm saying, somebody there to assist them, or, if they were just making sure that they were keeping up with those dates and things like that, that would have been perfect. Here's something else I want to make sure I remind everybody of: those expiration dates or those payment due dates, that final date, you need to be mindful of that. Because even though you're giving yourself a 6 to 12 month window, let's just say, the hotel, maybe you can pay it when you get there. But if you're going somewhere like on a cruise, or some other type of event like that, or travel destination like that, they give you a certain amount of time. I believe it's like you have to pay it 45 days before the embarkation day. I believe,
yeah.
if I'm not mistaken. So you have to account for that, right? You have to account for when that last payment needs to be due, and then count back. Okay, Here's 6 months from here, here's 12 months from here, and then let me do it that way.
Yeah.
So be mindful of that, because you do not want to be like them folks. And then your kids be crying because you ain't going nowhere.
That
Then you got
stuff
to
is
pivot,
terrible.
you know, then you got to pivot and do something completely different. So for me and for all the other parents out there, what I'm telling you guys is that this travel thing, I know a lot of us are always saying we would like to travel more, we would like to travel more. And while traveling more would be wonderful, at least put one trip on the book or two trips on the book for next year or the year following that. One with your kids and then one with your spouse or partner. So that way you guys can regroup and, do what you need to do. Maybe some solo staycations or I mean, I was talking more so about traveling, further distances. But man, plan those staycations for yourself. You could go to a hotel that has a spa, and maybe you need just 24 hours to recharge. You can plan that too. You can pick the day, which will be, if you want to make sure, okay, maybe you don't want anybody to have to worry about getting your kids to school or anything, or your spouse getting the kids to school. Well, I'm going to go on a Sunday. I'm going to go on a Saturday night. I'm going to be home on Sunday. Plan that. Go to the spa, relax, get some room. What's it called when you get room service? Get some room service. Plan for that. Just rejuvenate yourself. And that goes for men too, not just women. That goes for men and women.
Traveling.
Yeah.
Excuse me. Traveling solo is good. Girl trips good. Men trips good. Birthday trips and milestone trips are good.
Yep.
Everything's just good.
Everything's
Celebratory trips
amazing.
good.
All of it. Do it all, but plan it comfortably so that way you are not going into debt trying to travel. The worst thing to do, and I've been seeing it on TikTok, is you're not paying your rent so you can go on a vacation. That's silly. The destination gonna still be there, but you're gonna be on the street. Don't do that.
And
Mm-mm.
that's the one.
Don't do that.
Prioritize. Just prioritize what you need
Yeah.
to do. If
Yeah.
it's not meant for you to go, it's not meant for you to go. Just acknowledge it and let's just move on. We don't have to keep playing these games with ourselves. We don't have to live like that. We don't have to be irresponsible because we feel like we're
I'm
going to
telling
miss
you.
something, or
I'm,
we're trying to keep up with the Joneses, or we're trying to look at our next door neighbor, what they doing. Mind
yeah.
your business and do what is for you.
Mm-hmm.
In life,
Mm-hmm.
everything is not a one size fits all. Everybody's
Sure is not.
situation is different. Everybody's situation is different. Yes, some situations are similar, but we all respond to things differently and prioritize things differently based on how we were taught and our values and our understandings. Yeah. So, y'all, with that being said, we're not going to take up your time talking about traveling on a budget because we understand what needs to be done. We know how we need to allocate funds. We know how we need to look at flight information, travel, lodging, the kids, all kind of stuff. So let's just make sure that everybody's just on one accord when
Yeah.
y'all all do go, especially with traveling with other adults. But y'all, that is our time for today. Definitely check out this video to figure out how you want to be able to travel on a budget and for your next travel adventure. With that being said, you guys, we are out of here. You guys enjoy your Saturday. We love to come in here and talk to you guys. We will see you guys tomorrow, same time, same place. Thank you guys so much. And yeah, that's our time.
Peace out, people.